Just change the title and everything. Put on some music because this game, for some reason, has no music. Hold on. For some reason, when I share with Windows from one PC to the other, it's fine. But the other way around, I have to re-log in every single time. And I do not know what the difference is between my settings. It's very annoying. And I also have issues with this one, like the one that logs in, or that I have to log in, it often just breaks, like it won't work unless I reboot. I'm just going to pick a game and put on the soundtrack, actually. What game, though? Maybe La Mulana. For a little bit. Yeah, I mean, you could just... I mean, isn't there fucking, like, free music you could put in at least with the option to turn it off if you hate it? Just something. Okay, so I'm actually going to put some text on the screen just to answer a question that's definitely going to happen, which is how the hell does this game work? Thank you for the 4 years, Solar. Appreciate it. Just give me a second. Rules are the same for all levels in the current set, but the rules are unknown. The goal is to figure them out and find the correct solution. Let me put some outline on that so it's not invisible. Hold on. Now, where do I want to put this? There we go. Streamer, how does this game work? Okay. I haven't played this in a few days, so I'm probably going to be really rusty. Music on screen, yes. There we go. Let me see if I can figure out what the fuck's going on here. Okay. So on the first level, it always shows you one valid solution. Why is the game so quiet, though? Weird. That's just like two different volumes you can toggle between, I guess. Puzzle Master X time, yep. Okay. Also, these down here represent the rules, so you can see which ones you've gotten correct with a solution you try. So you can do trial and error to try to understand why one is correct and one is not. So if I simply start on the circle and do nothing else, I get 3 out of 4. If I do nothing, I get number 3. This is weird. If I take the square and only the square, I get 2 and 3. But if I get an extra empty, I get 3 and 4. So maybe it's like go an even number of squares? No, that didn't get 2 or 4. Maybe it's like end on a vertical move or something. Let's just get some more levels. Okay, it usually does this. Like it gives you a few where it's pretty easy. I think not getting a triangle is probably one that's simple enough. Actually, I don't know, because that's 1, 3, and 4. 2 is wrong. If I do this, 4 is wrong. Can I make 3? Okay, I think the only way to make 3 wrong is to touch the triangle, so it's definitely something to do with the triangle. But it's not necessarily specifically because of the triangle. Okay, what if I do something like that? That's not correct. Now, why is that not correct? It could be just the number of turns. It could also be like, you have to leave the grid in one section in the final solution. Which I could test that, actually. Could that be the only reason that getting the triangle was wrong? No, because then doing that would be fine. Huh. Now that's not correct. I feel like the triangle has to be enclosed inside the line with the... No? Yeah, here we go. Now it gets confusing. This is probably the one where I'm gonna have to figure out what the actual rules are. I do think 3 is just to do with the triangle. I think 1 is to do with starting on the circle. And 2 seems to be end on the square? But what is 4? It feels like 4 is something to do with the way you draw the line. I just don't have a clue what. Maybe you have to draw the longest possible line. No. You're my hint guy again? Okay. Noted. Yeah, I do not understand the rules here. So this got 3 and 4 correct. Okay, so 2 is not end... It's not... Oh, it is. So I think 2 is end on square, 1 is start on circle, 3 is don't get triangle. Doing this makes 4 right, but doing that or this makes 4 wrong. Even number right, odd number wrong, odd number wrong, even number wrong, so it's not even number. What am I doing differently here, here, and here, where this one's right, but these two are not? It's the same from this side, too. I was thinking maybe just end on a vertical line, but it's definitely not that, because we've done that. Man, I don't know. I can't figure out what 4 is. If I do this, I get 4 wrong here. What if I do that? Still wrong. It's like in maybe like even number of turn. No, odd number of turns. No, because what in the world? What could it be? Is it to do with the number of squares left over? If I do this, there's 4. I've taken 2 and left 4. If I do this, I've taken 4 and left 1. Huh. Sorry, 5. Not 4. 2 and 4 works, 3 and 3 does not, 4 and 2 does not, 5 and 1 does, 1 and 5 does not. 2 and 7, 3 and 6, 4 and 5, 5 and 4, 6 and 3, 7 and 2, 8 and 1 works. But I somehow doubt that's anything to do with it. That works too. It's not about leaving exactly one space because... maybe... Man, I don't know. I just don't know. Maybe the remaining space has to be a square. Aha! I think that might be it. It's so cool when you figure out those weird rules. Yep, it has to be a square. I think I've got them all. It's possible there's more to one of these first ones, though, that I haven't figured out. this might not be possible. Maybe it just has to be all squares left. Nope. Wait, is this possible? Yeah, it is. I mean, I was gonna say, like, can you even get there with and leave a square, theoretically, but you can. Here we go. Interesting. So, I realized that this was still here, but maybe it's just, like, leftover empty space must be a square, but it can include the triangle kind of thing. Because, like, this triangle on its own was fine. Maybe it is just that remaining regions have to be a square. I think that might be the case. Because I thought I tested that, but maybe not. Yeah, that seems reasonable. Okay, so that didn't satisfy condition 3? Why? Condition 3 had nothing to do with the triangles the whole time, I think. Because I'm not taking the triangles and condition 3 is angry. That makes condition... Do I have to take, like, at least half the grid? No. But if I take that... That's so weird. Is it get an even number of shapes? No, I'm doing that. It's not leave one triangle either. What on earth? Oh, did somebody post spoilers? Yeah, no help on this, please. No help on puzzles. What the hell is rule 3, man? It was fine when I made a super long line. Yeah, like... It seems like as long as I make a long-ass line and don't touch the triangle either. No, that didn't work. Why, though? What on earth? I need to figure out where it goes wrong, because it's right, like... I need to just get it right again. One of the long lines I drew was correct. Okay, so I circled this, and then I went up around there. What if I circle this and stop? That's right. Oh, is it just separate the triangles from other shapes? Or from other triangles? There's got to be a rule that encompasses, like, don't have a triangle on the line or seeing another triangle. I think that might be it. That might be it. Aha. I'm trying to figure out, like, what the wording would be, though, because you can't collect them or let them be with another triangle, so... What would be like... It's always like a one-sentence rule that explains it elegantly. Wait, how am I gonna do this? Okay, yeah, this one's tough. This is a weird one. There we go. He's done it. I do like to figure out what the wording of the rule is, though. Like, what specifically is the rule? Like, how would you phrase this in one elegant way? It can be helpful for future puzzles to figure that kind of thing out. Rex, can you play this? Hall of the Mountain King Trap Remix. No. I'm not taking any chances with music I don't know. Yeah, I played Snakebird. uncollected triangles must be in separate squares doesn't satisfy it, because collecting a triangle here automatically gets rule 3 wrong. Rule 3 is right unless you take the triangle on all of these where there's one. But when there's one triangle, there's no other triangle for it to be separated from. Oh well. I mean, I clearly understood how the rule works. I just am not sure exactly how they would word it. I guess if I've already found the solution to all the puzzles in the set and understand the rule, you could... It's probably fine to guess at like what the wording would be, I suppose. Yeah, it can never be a double rule. It's always a single rule. Rex, can you play this? 10 hours of soft lolly breathing. I'm gonna go ahead and not play that. That is fucking cursed. Holy shit. Okay, so 1 seems to be start on the circle. I think 2 this time has to do with the triangles or something to do with the way the triangle is. That still doesn't satisfy the fact that it can't be on the line, though. So, yeah. That I can play, Zephyr. So 2 is triangle related. 3 might just be like, get the square? I don't know. I need more puzzles. Okay, so this is right and this is wrong. We have 2 separated regions at the end, I guess. Oh, I see what you mean, yeah. Remaining spaces must contain it. Yeah, okay. I gotcha. Can you play the list of the top 10 most litigious songs in the 20th century? So that's 4 wrong. I think 4 has to do with division of the grid, and 3 might be... Did I say 3 or 2 was triangle related here? Yeah, I think 3 is triangle related. And 2 may just be ending on the square. There's definitely going to be more to it, though. So this gets 2 wrong, but this satisfies it. Or sorry, gets... Yeah, no, that gets 2 wrong. That gets 2 right, so does that. Oh, that's correct, okay. Leaving exactly 1 square and 1 triangle together satisfied everything. What if I go this way? Only 2 is wrong. This could be like get all the circles or something. I think we move on to the next one here, see if we can figure anything out. Do I have to just leave a 2-space region then? Okay. Is that possible here? I don't think it is. I can't even leave an even number of spaces no matter what I do. It's always going to be odd, and it's always not going to be 2. So it can't be a rectangle, because it can never be even. You gave up trying to do the puzzles on like the wooden faces in the garden looking area. In the witness? The puzzles on the wooden fences in the garden looking area. I'm trying to remember what area that even is. Remaining spaces must just be in a straight line then? Could be. Could be something. Oh, that area. Okay. You see, the thing about the sound puzzle is that one of them is incorrect, and I will die on this hill. And I will die on it 1,000 times. You can never change my mind. Sure, Rex, sure it is. But it is! It is, though. Just most people don't have a good enough ear to distinguish the different tones, so they can't hear why it's wrong. But I'm telling you, one of the sound puzzles is incorrect. This seems really difficult. Your tone deaf, so it was impossible. That sucks. Same for, like, colorblind people trying to do the color zone. Good fucking luck. Maybe I can leave multiple straight lines, actually. That might save me here. There might be, like, some configuration I can do. Yeah, what about that? Aha! Nice. The sound puzzle goes, like... Okay. Pause the video for, like, 2 minutes if you don't want any witness spoilers, because I'm going to explain how the puzzle worked. So the goal is to figure out... you can kind of picture it here. Let's just say you had to draw a line from left to right, and you have to pick the row depending on the pitch. So if it went do-do-do-do-do, you would have to go, like, you know, first row, second row, third row, fourth row, fifth row. And it was a specific amount of tones. Like, I think it was, the end result had to have 4 that you choose, but there were 5 notes. And it was like, du-du-du-du-du. But it was supposed to be like, you're supposed to just hear like, du-du-du-du, or something like that. But it was like, du-du-du-du-du. And like, we sat here in chat arguing over it, and like, most people absolutely could not hear it. No matter what I said or how hard they tried, it was impossible for them to hear that extra note. But a few people were like, yeah, 100%, like, I hear it. It's just one of those things, and I think most people, like, their ear just doesn't pick up on it. It was just a small trill. Yeah, but it was like a distinct note. And because, like, the way the puzzles worked was that a long note would take up, like, 2 sections of the line, and a short note would only take 1. So in terms of the amount of space that should have been dedicated to each note, like, that sound was a full beat of that. So it should have been part of the answer, but it wasn't. That was part of the issue. Well, I gotta end on the square, so that's no good. Feel like I have to go this way. Actually, maybe not like this anyway. Because I don't think I think it has to be just a straight line. I don't think I can, like, connect those. Well, let me look at it this way. Like, with all these triangles surrounding these spaces, there's only going to be so many valid ways to split this up. So this triangle could go with, like, these squares. Like that. This one, I can't get this square if I come around this way, so... No, because if I go down with this one, I can't separate this one. So this one has to be either like that, or if you could somehow do it like this. Maybe we start like this. Is there enough room to even... Like, that, one of these has to be part of the end. No, that's not true. This might be something. There we go. This is a good game. I'm done spoiling the witness, yes. Oh god, that sucks, Roseguard. We had a hurricane here on the east coast of my province just the other day. It was only Category 1 though. It was not bad at all. Okay, 4-3. Just that is correct. So is that. Okay. So length of line, maybe? Or remaining spaces? Remaining spaces having to be 3 could be rule 3, I think. Rule 2, though. What's rule 2? Maybe it's like don't get shapes. Okay, and that's wrong, I assume. Everything else is wrong. I broke rule 2 there by splitting it up. Is that it? No. Why is this wrong? The shape is separated from the blank space. It's on the line here. Like, all remaining space must have a circle. Another one of those again, maybe? All remaining space must have a circle. Don't collect shapes. End with 3 space. I don't know. Something like that. Let's just test the theory for now. Okay, so that wasn't correct. Is it possible that it has to be an L? It may have to be an L. Specifically. Okay, well, we can't... I don't know if we can do the same shape this time. No, we can. We can. Okay. Let's try putting them each in one L-shaped region. I think I got this one, honestly. My rules feel correct. Although this one... shit. Is this possible? This may not be possible. What if I start there? No, because how am I gonna get this square and each corner? Like, I have to end... If I go in here, I'm stuck. And if I go to any of the corners, no matter where I come from, I'm stuck. So yeah, one of my rules wasn't correct. But why? Interesting. Very interesting. That satisfied rule 3 only. Which might be to do with the shape left over. That satisfies rule 2. Does this? That does too. That doesn't? Is it because the circles are together? I think it might be. So rule 2 might be like no circles together. Something dumb I just did worked for 3, didn't it? Yeah, maybe it's just separate the circles and leave. Nope. That only got 1 correct. Wait, so we separated the circles, but I still got 2 wrong. Why would that be? Why on earth is that? 2's wrong there, too. It's not that I left exactly 2 spaces. Is it an odd number of leftover spaces? No. I also have no clue what I'm doing. Yeah, I really am not getting the rule this time. What? I guess it's also valid if it's like a longer version of that shape. I don't know how I would put that into words if that's the case. Let me just start like this and see why that's a problem. Okay, I can see immediately why that's a problem. No help streamer. Help bad. This is an issue. We may have to do longer L's for some of these. That's too long. Hold on. What if I make them all? No, that's not gonna work. Maybe like two long ones and 2 short ones. I've got a pretty good shape going in the middle there. I think I see how I could do this. If I just do this, but start like this, then we're good. Oh, but I literally can't get this square then. Frick. That was so close. Oh wait, no, because we're making that one big. I definitely can still do this. Or can I? Wait, no, I can't. There's gotta be a start like this that works. It's so close. Maybe I can get in there at the end with this setup. No, I'd have to get these squares. What if I do that? That's not looking so good to me, but no, that's impossible. Damn, dude. This one's tough. It is the last one in the set, I guess, so. This might be something you could solve by thinking about the logic of the parity or whatever, but I don't have the brain for that. I just don't have the wrinkles. My wrinkles are unsatisfactory. Oh, come on. We're so close here. There's got to be something with this. There has to be. Bruh. It's so close. Come on. What could I do? I don't see it. I don't think this works. I don't think any variant of this works. Can't make that shorter. What if from here I did something different? Well, this is, that doesn't help me. That's what I've been doing all along. Well, let's make that one small right now, and then it's not gonna work. It's already impossible if I do that because of this square. Let me look at this. Maybe there's a way to deal with this. I think this is what I did, to be honest, but like, you could almost make them both large there, but that pesky square right there. Well, my understanding of the rules, which could be incorrect, are that you must separate circles from one another, you must not collect shapes, and you must leave empty regions in an L shape that's symmetrical. The way the game works is in the bottom left corner, Xanther. You get a set of puzzles, and your goal is to figure out how the rules work, what they are, and apply them and get the correct solution. And the rules change every single set of puzzles. I still don't see it. This really feels like it's almost good, doesn't it? Aha! He's done it. He gamed. Okay. That's wrong, that's wrong, that's right. But 1 and 3 were correct. What if I take the circle? 1 becomes wrong. What if I take the square? 1 is also wrong. Basically just trying to make the rules right. Okay, so that's right. That's right. What if remaining regions must have 1 circle and 1 square? Or even just 2 shapes? I think rule 2 must be remaining regions have 1 circle and 1 square. Rule 3 is right if I do that. Maybe they have to be divisible by 3 also? And then, like, rule 1 could be, like, don't get shapes? I don't know. 1 circle and 1 square, divisible by 3, don't get shapes. Well, divisible by 3 is incorrect here, but... Okay, I think I have 2 of the rules figured out. Seem fairly, self-explanatory. So that's wrong on rule 3. But that's right for rule 3. Interesting. That breaks rule 3. But as long as I leave everything together, rule 3 is happy. But I didn't do that here. Oh, maybe remaining regions have to be the same shape or the same number of squares. We've seen that before. Is that possible, though? Of course it is. I think I got it again. Yeah, feeling confident. I don't know if it has to be the same shape or just the same number of, Okay, so it does have to be the same shape and rotational symmetry doesn't count. It looks like. That makes this harder. How am I gonna do that? Let me think about this. This might be obvious, but I'm not seeing it. Rex blind. Well, it's got to contain a line, a diagonal line of squares. We know that much. So it has to have, like, you know, the leftover shape has to look like... has to include something like that, I guess, for example. Rex, what the fuck is this game I just got here? You have to understand. That's how you win, by understanding. Maybe they can be together. No. It's not gonna work. I almost thought I saw something here when I did this. Like, how do we resolve this is the question. Like, obviously I can't leave all this space on the top and bottom, but... like, what could I take from this and then add to make it valid? Well, obviously you've got a split here. At the very least. I have not. Saiko. I don't know what Rift Wizard is. Let me open a tab for that later. And I will let you know. If you ask me again next time. Basically, look at the text in the bottom left corner. Yeah, so we have to draw a line through here. That much is a given. And the shape at least has to be 5 blocks minimum. No, it has to be more than that. Because to connect these two shapes and these two shapes, you'd have at least... You'd have to have at least... No, because we could... It won't fit, though. It has to be at least like 7 or 8 blocks, I want to say. This is really hard for me to see for some reason. God, this setup right here is so confusing. We gotta think about like what can fit, but get this to work and this. Oh wait, I think I see a shape that makes sense, but I don't know if I can draw it. No, that won't split them. Fuck. How on earth? Wait, is it even possible to do this with my rules? Because if you have to... Like, if this one requires 3 width in any way, I think it breaks it. Yeah, I don't know about this. I'm trying to see if it's even possible to... My rules might be wrong. They might be. What's up, Barrier? I'm not good at, like, seeing complex shapes, though, so I don't know. Like, I can't do an L shape on the outside here, because that'll have these connected always, these two. So the only way to get this square in this shape, obviously, is to go around it. Which I think immediately breaks the rules? Unless it's one of these cheeky, like, misleading ones where I actually get different ones than you'd think together. But that looks really hard to do. Like, to get those together, that's such a wild shape. There's no way I would ever... No, there's no way. Rule 1, don't touch shapes. And then you ask, why is high not allowed? What? Just don't help me, man. Don't take it personally, but now you know not to help. I want to solve puzzles myself. I want to game. Alright, ban him. I'm done with him. He's gonna say high is not spoiler after that. Fuck off. Come on, bro. High is not spoiler. I don't know. Is this... I think this is impossible with my rules. But, like, I don't see... What else? He just forgot he typed the other sentence by mistake. Maybe I'll try the star one. See if I can do it with my rules. Okay, how are we gonna make these the same shape? Looks like we'd have to separate them like that in some way. Maybe. Now, if I'd gotten all the squares on the left first, that would work, I think. But can I? Huh. What if I leave one extra square and then I do the same on the other side? Like make that kind of shape. Shit. Because I don't think I can rotate it, so that's no good. No, it's not. This can't be right. Can it? Like my rule, let me think about this. So I've got 6 and I've got 7. Wait, how did I need to figure out how numbers work because like I managed to get an equal number of squares here. Is it because of the total number? Like, if the total number is odd, I can take an odd number and leave 2 even numbers. Total number is even here, and I took an even amount and left 2 even. It starts off odd here, and I took an odd, which leaves 2 evens. Here it starts off odd, I take an odd, which leaves 2 evens. So you have to be able to remove the same parity as you start with, I think?